Hi everyone, in this video we will see the most advanced branch of chemistry, that is nanotechnology. See, this term I think may be familiar to you but may not be familiar to all of you, but this is one of the most advanced branch of chemistry and it has find various application from different sector, wide range of sectors it has application. And there are very renowned laboratories working in India like IIT, IIC, ISARS and separate institute for this, that is a well known institute JNCSR. So these all institutes are nowadays focusing on the various types of nanochemistry, synthesis of nanomaterials and application in various fields, right from medicine to electronics. So all these fields they are applying and it finds a versatile application. Let me tell you, that branch of chemistry is nanotechnology. If at all some of you want to do research, I mean there is a huge scope for nanotechnology, synthesis of nanomaterials and application, because as recently our Prime Minister mentioned, the hot topic of research or the hot area of research, it includes nanotechnology, let me tell you, because he was focusing on energy conservation and energy production with efficiency using nanotechnology, and again water purification or removal of plastic wastage, all these things. Of course, nanotechnology finds various application in all these sectors. So what is this nanotechnology? If you see the history, this was actually the father of nanotechnology is Richard Feynman. He was a physicist. He was known for a great contribution to this field. That's why he is called father of nanotechnology. He told this sentence, the first sentence when he told, it has lots of meaning. If you see that, there's a plenty of room at the bottom. So what do you understand? There's a plenty of opportunities at the bottom. Bottom means something at the lower scale, not something in the bulk, something at very small scale. There's a plenty of opportunity. This is the meaning of this sentence. Then Professor Norio Taniguchi, actually, then there have been lots of work since that time, something around 1970 in the 19th century. Then the work progressed and the Professor Norio Taniguchi from Japan introduced this term nanotechnology. So the concept of nanotechnology in the 19th century. Okay, and from India, you must have seen this person in some conference or in some research awarding ceremony, something like that. So he is Professor C.N.R. Rao, the well-known scientist of world. I mean, in India, I think he is the most renowned scientist with very high academic profile, and fortunately he is ours, and he is doing very good active research in JNCSR, and he is the founder of JNCSR. I should say another wing of Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Of course, it is a separate institute, autonomous, and it's funded by central government. It's doing lots of research on nanochemistry. In case if you get a chance, please visit for doing some project or for doing your PhD. Don't miss an opportunity to join this renowned institute. Okay, so going ahead, so if you come to the nano field in India, well, it's not new. In India, I think it was well established in the history. If you see various temples and carvings on the various sculptures, and there are various different types of sculptures which ancient India had made, and pillars, this kind of temples, pillars. You see there are some pillars or some monuments which have been there since so many years, since hundreds, thousands of years. It has been there like that without even erosion. The reason behind this, let me tell you, it is a concept of nanotechnology. It indicates how much our ancestors, how much around ancient Indians were very much well versed in the field of nanotechnology. Without knowing the concept, maybe we do not know, without knowing the concept of nanotechnology, they have applied that in the various fields. And long ago there were some bhasmas available, and even today gold bhasma, all those, they are given for the treatment of various diseases, and it was discovered by ancient Indian seers, or we call them rishis, right. So this concept was not at all new for India. Of course, if you open up any scientific discoveries, it's not that new for India. Our ancestors and India in the old time has discovered all these things, but the problem is not properly documented. That's the place where we are, we were lagging behind. It's not properly documented. That's why whenever that new concept comes in chemistry or in science, so we don't talk about India, we talk about others. The reason is it's not properly documented, and nowhere it is introduced the concept of nanotechnology or something like that. But if you go to Sanskrit, there will be Anu, Paramanu, all those things, the size of the particle very well mentioned by various Rishi Munis, but not properly documented. Even there is a documentation, some of us won't be able to understand. That's a different story. So I don't go much into the history because that goes out of the syllabus. So let me come to this. What is that nano size? You must be wondering that when the term comes to you, that nanotechnology, what is that something behind it? What makes that nanotechnology very much interesting? What is that fascinating about it? So you must be wondering most of the time. Now let me tell you that nano something to do with the size. When you talk about nanochemistry or nanotechnology, it is something to do with the size. Size is at the nano level. Nano, hope you all know that nano size is, nano means 10 to the power of minus 9, 10 raised to minus 9, that is nano. That is if you see the scale, if you see the various organs or organisms, if you see here, so human is something around 1 to 2 meter, then hand is something in 10 centimeter, 10 to 15, then hair 1 centimeter. If you go on reducing like that, you go on. So what happens? I mean, this is I am talking about in some range. Of course, you can start from Earth, you can start from universe. It is like thousands kilometers, and kilometer to meter, meter to centimeter. Then you come to the lower level, that is nanometer. You reduce the structure here basically. The human is something meter. Then if you take some organ like some part of his body is like in centimeter. Then there are parts go down. There is like hair, which is this centimeter. You go down, there are cells, blood cells, which is in micro level, micrometer. Then there are bacteria which are present below that micrometer. Then there are some viruses which comes to nanometer scale, right? Hemoglobin, if you take the small cells, right? So it comes to this. So some glucose molecule, that's what some of the at the molecular structure. So this one, I think most of you BSc students must be knowing this atom scale. I mean the length of an atom or the size of an atom, that is in angstrom, right? The distance between hydrogen and hydrogen, if you take, or distance between carbon and carbon, I mean CC bond length, C double bond C bond length, or hydrogen bond length, they are in picometer or angstrom level, correct? We talk in angstrom level. Somewhere that nanometer somewhere lies between these, I mean something about micrometer, and micro means 10 raised to minus 6, micro and angstrom, that is 10 raised to minus 9. So it is nanometer scale. You can see various organs or cells which are in the different range of size. So when you talk about nanoparticles, it is too small. It is too small because hair diameter, if you talk about it, is micrometer, and you have to go below that. So you can see here. So when you talk about atomic structure, like it may be some any atom like hydrogen or carbon, so they come in this nanometer scale, okay? And nanometer, angstrom, of course they are very close by. Even up to this you can consider, that is up to 100 nanometer, 1 to 100 nanometer we call almost nanometer scale. Okay, going ahead, you can see some of the particles which lie in that region, like it may be some viruses, some red blood cell, and you have the recent hit one, that is coronavirus, which rise somewhere in the micrometer scale, that is 0.1 micrometer. And human hair, of course, it is 60 to 120 microns in the micrometer scale again. So, it is much smaller than human hair, I mean that if you talk about the diameter of that, okay, that is nanometer scale. It is just to introduce what small is the nanometer. Okay, now we will come to the definition because of course in the examination definition will be asked in some universities, I know. So, it is a definition wise, if you want to talk about, it is a branch of technology, because it is a nanotechnology, you can call it as a branch of technology that deals with a dimension of less than 100 nanometers. As I already told you, a 1 to 100 nanometer scale, that is considered as nanoscale, okay, especially the manipulation of individual atoms and molecules. Oh, in this region, so it is 1 to 100 nanometers or less than 100 nanometer, it is usually considered as something in the nano size. It is a branch of technology that deals with the dimension and tolerance of less than 100 nanometer. So, you can see the various organic nanoparticles, and there are hybrid nanoparticles. This may be new for you, but there is one more interesting point one should remember is quantum dot, which is having the size below 10 nanometer and shows various optical properties and thermal and magnetic properties. Very interesting nowadays. Another branch of chemistry, I should say, and coming under the nanotechnology, that is quantum dot chemistry. And there are nowadays it has become a passion of synthesizing this kind of oxides, various organic oxides, and they look for the morphology. Now, you may be wondering how this nano concept or the nano materials are measured. There are separate instruments like TEM and SEM, scanning electron microscope, tunneling electron microscope, and AFM. These all are used for morphology and size study. They calculate, of course, by various softwares like it may be Origin, all those using that. They process the data, and even using XRD, they calculate the size, or they come out with the size of the each particle, then they confirm that it is in this scale like 20 nanometer, below 20 nanometer, some are in up to 100 nanometer, some are like measles, they are getting congregated, they undergo coagulation kind of thing, and they are getting cluster type. So, you have to measure in different areas, and you have to find out the particle size and congregation size, all these things. So, the uses of nanotechnology, of course, it is wide, as I told you. This branch of chemistry or branch of technology, it finds application in medicine, energy, environmental application, and food, textile, electronics, various fields.